Tudor have just released a couple of new variants of the Ranger range, and in today's video we're getting hands-on with these models, discussing everything that you need to know about these watches, but we're also going to be talking about why I might buy this over the Tudor Black Bay Pro. Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always. And this always happens, right? Before Dubai Watch Week and before Christmas, normally what happens is brands release new stuff to get you engaged just before the festive period. And Tudor have done it with a bang with these brand new Tudor Ranger models. So back in the early 1950s, there was an expedition called the British North Greenland Expedition. And the watch worn in this expedition was the Tudor Oyster Prince. Now, after this expedition, Tudor actually brought back the Ranger in 2014 with a 41mm variant. Then, in 2022, to mark the 70th anniversary of the British North Greenland Expedition, they introduced the 39mm variant. And now, in 2025, they've expanded the range even more with a couple of banging new variants. So firstly, we have a 36mm variant, and then we have a 39mm variant. Now, the 36mm size is a totally new size for the Ranger, but the 39mm was already there. So what's different about that one is actually the dial. Now, the dials on these new models come in this beautiful creamy white color that Tudor are actually calling Dune White. It's funny how imaginative we can be about colors in the watch industry, but it does kind of look like a sandy white. So let's dive quickly into the 39mm variant specs, and then we'll get onto the 36mm variant specs, the dial detail, and then we're gonna be talking about the Tudor Black Bay Pro and why my head might be turned. Not gonna lie. The 39mm variant comes in at 12mm in thickness, so it is pretty damn thin, and it has 20mm lug widths. It's waterproof up to 100 meters, has a smooth satin brushed steel bezel, domed sapphire crystal glass, and you do have the option of the bracelet or the NATO strap. The 3-link bracelet on this watch is actually pretty sexy, but I think that if I were to wear this as a kind of explorer's watch, where I think this watch kind of should be worn, I think I'd opt with a NATO here. On the bracelet here, we do have the folding clasp with the Tudor T-Fit system, which is really, really nice to see. By the way, before we go any further, we're going to be doing a watch collection video really, really soon with your watch collection. So if you guys want to get involved in that, then head over to Chisholm Hunter Watches, which is our Instagram page. Follow us there and join the watch family group chat. And essentially what I can do is I can send a little message and say, fire your collections in, and then we're going to go through them together. We're going to see what beautiful watches you guys have in your collection. The movement on this model is the manufacturer MT5402, which is fully COSC certified. It's totally self-winding, so it's automatic and has approximately 70 hours of power. And then we get to the new dial here, which is that Dune White dial. Now, as I said before, it is kind of a sandy white, and it looks absolutely stunning in person. It's funny, Tudor have a tendency to kind of capitalize on colors. I mean, they had the opaline white, which is kind of like this metallic-y white, and now they have the Dune White. It's almost like their own special flair, their own piece of DNA, so to speak, on these watches. And it makes it slightly different to just your classic white dials. And I love that. I think it adds a lot to the watch. Now, on the black variant, we can see that the numerals are obviously in kind of beigey color, but in the Dune White, we can see that they're actually blackened and darkened so that there's extra visibility when telling the time, essentially. Now, interestingly, above each marker of the Dune White dial, you can see just a tiny little dot that isn't actually present on the black dials. And essentially what that is a lume dot. The lume on these models is super, super strong, and I'll put both of them up on the screen at the moment, but it's really, really good. Now, on the second hand, at the end of the second hand, you do have a little splash of red, which is super, super nice. I kind of wish they'd made this white, perfectly honest. I think that would look really cool if you had like you've got the Dune White on the bottom, the sandy white, and then above that on the second hand, you've got pure white. I think that would add a lot of contrast and would just look super cool, but that's me being me. And then we get to the 36mm variant, which seems to be the big one, the big bang. People seem to be really going crazy for this one. And they come in two different dial colors, right? You've got the black dial, the kind of classic dial that we know from the Ranger range already. And then again, you've got this Dune White dial. So these models come in at 36mm in case diameter. Then you have a 19mm lug width, and the case thickness comes in at 11 millimeters. So you're essentially cutting off 1 millimeter from the 39mm variant. And I know that that doesn't seem like much. Trust me, I know how weird watch guys sound when they start talking about tiny details like this, but on the wrist, it makes such a huge difference. That 1 millimeter could be the tipping point between getting a watch and not getting a watch. And I think on the wrist, it wears unbelievably well. This model also has a waterproofness of 100 meters. It again has domed sapphire crystal glass, giving it a little bit more of a vintage vibe. You have the option of the same bracelet, just a little bit smaller, with the T-fit clasp or that NATO strap. Now, the movement on this model is interesting because you might actually recognize the movement. The movement on this model is the MT5400, which is identical to the Black Bay 58 and also the Black Bay 54. So you do have the same movement as you would have in those other models that everybody kind of loves. This movement is fully automatic and has 70 hours of power. And now we get to my predicament, and I'd love your help on this, guys, because I'm not sure where to turn. I'm not actually sure what to do. So to celebrate 100,000 subscribers when we do hit it, and thank you guys so much for that, because it really means the world, I wanted to get myself a watch, something to celebrate. And for a while now, I've been saying it's the Tudor Black Bay Pro, the opaline dial. I love that watch. But there's a couple of things that aren't perfect about that model, and I do think that my head has been slightly turned with this new Ranger. For example, on the Tudor Black Bay Pro, it comes in at 14.6 millimeters in thickness. So yes, it is a lot thicker than your 11 or 12 millimeter thickness on the Tudor Ranger. And then we get to the fact that it is a GMT model. Now, I've always wanted a GMT model because I do travel a lot, so that's something that I probably should get eventually. But will I ruin this watch? Will I damage this watch when traveling with it? That's something that I've been considering. And I think the Ranger is kind of like the explorer's watch, right? It's the rugged, tough explorer's watch that Tudor offer. And I really am in two minds about getting the opaline Tudor Black Bay Pro or the Tudor Ranger now. I really am. I don't know what to do because I think both of these watches are stunning. I think that I would like to see a little bit more thinness or a little bit thinner case on the opaline dial Black Bay Pro. With that said, it does have GMT functionality. So I can see the different things going on here. So I'm going to leave this with you. What watch do you think that I should get for 100K on the YouTube? Do you think it should be the Black Bay Pro, or do you think it should be the Ranger? Or do you think that I'm just nuts and I should get something totally different? Please let me know in the comments. Oh yeah, the price. I should absolutely cover that, actually. So on the 36mm with a bracelet, it comes in at £2,930. Now, you do decrease the price when going for a NATO strap. It comes in at £2,650. There is no variance between the dial colors and price, so it's not like they've introduced the Dune White and been like, that's 50 quid more expensive. They're exactly the same for the black or the Dune White dial. And when it comes to the 39mm variant being just a little bit more chunky, a little bit more stainless steel, precious metal, it's a little bit more expensive at £3,020 with the bracelet, or with the NATO strap again, it's £2,740, so a little bit less expensive. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you think about my predicament here. It's funny how we get ourselves into knots about these kind of watches. I honestly don't know what to do. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button or follow our Instagram at Chisholm Hunter Watches, or my Instagram at HP Lifelens, or the podcast, the Into the Mind podcast. And I'll see you guys real soon.